All right, so the lesson 1 through 2 review is going to help prepare us for today's quiz. 1 and 2 says to describe the location of each point in relation to the origin. Okay, so describe the point in relation to the origin. So number 1, what do we do for number 1?
For the first one, you write 1 forward.
1 forward.
And -7 to the left.
Okay, so the -7 tells you 7 left. We don't want to write -7 because then that's a double negative. We don't want to do that. So just 7 units left.
And then 4 up.
And then 4 up. Very good. All right. Number 6, how are we going to do number 2 then? Start with the -3, just like we did here on the 1. So 3, right? We're going to move 3 units. We don't have to worry about the negative sign. And then the very first number tells us forward. What would be the opposite of forward? Backward. So is this one the same sign, like positive, positive, negative, negative, as what we did over here? It's different, right? 1 turned into a this was 1 was positive. This is negative, so we're going to be going in the opposite direction. So what's the opposite of forward? Backward. So we're going to go 3 backward. Okay. That middle number, that 7 over here, told us that we were moving left. So 5, which way are we going to be moving? Right this time because it's opposite. Okay. The 4 is now a -7, so we're going to be moving 7. What did the 4 tell us? 4 was going up, so what's -7 going to tell us? It's going 7 down. All right, how do we feel about 1 and 2? Give me 1 through 5. Okay, those are supposed to be the easy give me points. Okay, especially if you can use your review on your quiz, you want to make sure you're using this, and then you can compare and make sure that that first number tells us forward or back, the middle number tells us left or right, last number tells us up or down. Yes, go ahead.
Does it matter if you say right 5 and it's up to the number?
No, it doesn't matter. You could have said forward 1, left 7, up 4. Okay. I just went that way because that's the way he said it first. So, but no, the number can come after. That's fine too. All right, so for numbers 3 and 4, it says to write the coordinates of each point. That means we have to figure out, okay, how does it move and come up with the actual point. So our coordinate point, remember coordinate points are an ordered triple. There are 3 parts to it, an X, a Y, and a Z here. Okay, so number 10. Does this one go forward? Because remember, the first way we look at it is forward or back. What is it? Backward 2, so it's -2 for the X. Very good. Okay, and then how about the left to right move?
-4.
Yep, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, so -4.
And 1 up.
And the height of the box is at that 1, so up 1 is +1. Very good. Number 11. How about number 4? All right, so we go forward 1, so that's a +1. Do we go left or right? We're going left, right? So -1. And then it doesn't have any height. See how it's a flat box? It's just either the top or the bottom. It's not even creating a box. The Z is going to be 0 because there's no height. Very good. Okay. Number 5 says to plot this point. Okay, plotting the points when we're going to have to draw that box in, it gets a little bit tricky. Because we're drawing the box so that we can see the one point that we are plotting. Sorry. So, this one. First off, let's talk about how it moves. Okay? So number 9, how's this point move? So using like this idea from up here, how do we move to get to this point? Earth to number 9. Oh, that's me, yeah. Number 9.
So you're going to go forward 2.
Forward 2.
And then I'm going to go right 1 on Y.
Forward 2. Right 1.
And then down 3.
And down 3. Very good. So those are the 3 directions that we are moving. Yes, go ahead.
On the test, will we have to put down like forward, right, down as like showing our
No, that's me just showing you where I'm coming up with this. That's just kind of like the steps that you take to get there. Okay. So, no, you do not have to write this on your quiz. As long as I can see it and it's plotted accurately on your quiz. So on our x-axis, we need a scale. So we need to put some numbers on here. I can go up by ones because I only have to go to 2. So this would be 2, this would be 4, -2, -4. On my y-axis, I only have to go to 1. So again, if I just go by ones, I'll be able to get to 1. And 3s, I'm good to go with just going up by ones as well on the z-axis. Alright, so now that I have my scales on there, I'm ready to actually make this point. To get to this point, though, I'm going to have to draw the box. So I'm going to come forward 2. That's how far forward my box goes. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in so you can see it a little better. Okay, so I came forward 2. I know that I'm going to be going to the right 1. Once I have those, I'm going to draw either the bottom or the top of my box in. Okay? This one, since we're going to be going down, this is going to be the top of my box. In order to draw the rest of my box in, I'm just going to draw the lines in that make it a parallelogram. Once I've gone my forward and my right, I just complete the top of that box. Now, I have to go down 3. So on the z-axis, and this is actually behind, this is in the back corner of that box. If I'm going down 3, that's where I'm headed. But I have to do that from all 4 corners of the top of my box. So I'm going to have to go down 3 here. There I created the back of my box. I'm going to have to go down 3 here. I made the side of my box. I'm going to have to go down 3 from here. I made the front of my box. And I had to make the parallelogram is going to be parallel to this parallelogram up here for the bottom of the box. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll actually use this box to find what point are we actually plotting, because I drew a box in, but I haven't plotted any points yet. So, if I go forward 2, right 1, down 3, this right here is the point 2, 1, -3. So you're just drawing that 3D image. But we're plotting only one point. A box is how so that you can see the 3D, but we're still plotting one point there. Okay. Number 6 says to graph the plane by finding the intercepts. Remember, your intercepts are all points. Start it like that so you don't forget that you're doing points here. If you have anything in that box other than 3 points, you just lose those points, okay? If I don't see parentheses and commas in there, you're going to lose those points on the quiz, because it's very important that they are points that you're plotting. An intercept is a point. Where does the plane hit the x-intercept? Well, The x-intercept, we know that you have to plug in your zeros for the y and the z. Okay. Number 15, what does x have to be if y and z are turned into zeros? What would make 3x equals negative 6? What does x have to be, number 15?
X has to be
Okay, if I plug in zeros for the y and the z, these terms are going to go away. What does x have to be to make that statement true? 3 times what number gets you negative 6? Three times 2 is positive 6. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So I know that that is my x-intercept. Okay. Number 14, if I'm looking for my y-intercept, I'm going to make my x and my z zeros. So there's my x as a 0, here's my z as a 0. I have negative 2y equals negative 6. What does y have to be, number 14? Negative 2 times what number gets you negative 6? What is it? 3. So your y-intercept is at 0, 3, 0. Okay. Number 13, what about your z-intercept? It would have to be negative 6 because you're going to plug in 0 for x, plug in 0 for y. You're going to have z equals negative 6. And there's not even any solving you really have to do there because z is already alone. You can, if you choose, write it out by plugging it in. So, for example, on the first one, if you wanted to write out 3x minus 2 times 0 plus 0 equals negative 6, then these turn into 3x minus 0 plus 0 equals negative 6. And then 3x equals negative 6, and divide by 3, and divide by 3, and get x equals negative 2, we would get this exact same answer. Okay? You can write out that work if it helps you. That's totally fine. Do you have to write out that work? No. You do not have to. Okay? But yes, you can if it helps you. If you write x equals negative 2 as an intercept, that is not an intercept because that's actually a plane. Okay? That is technically an equation. It is a plane in this coordinate space. Okay? And we're looking for an intercept, not a plane. So the point at which it hits the x-axis. So again, here we have our x-axis. Let's put labels on it. Can I go up by 1s on my x-axis? Yeah, I only have to get to 2. So we're going to have 2 here, 4 here, negative 2, negative 4. On your y-axis, we have to get to 3. Can we go by 1s? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Your z-axis, you have to get to negative 6. Can you go by 1s? No, you'd only go up to 4. So what should we go up by instead? 2s will work. So here's negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. Now let's actually plot all those points on the x-axis. All we're looking for is the x-intercept at negative 2. Put a point on the x-axis at negative 2. Number 8, what do I do from there? Go to the y-axis and put a point at 3. Good. Number 4, what do I do from there? Well, that's in what spot? X, Y, or Z? Z, so I'm looking for my z-axis. That's one that goes up and down. So it's down at negative 6 right there. Okay, put a point. Number 3, what do I do once I have the 3 points plotted? Put the lines through the points. And make sure they're lines with arrows, right, that go forever in all directions. So go through these 2 points. Make sure you're using a straight edge. Use that Post-it card I gave you, that index card, or your ID card. Something so you can get nice straight lines. So you're connecting all those points. Drawing lines through those points. Number 12, what do I do once I have those lines drawn in? Yeah, you color inside that triangle to represent where the plane is. You're going to shade inside there to represent that that's the plane that you just graphed. And it says to graph the plane by finding intercepts. So we find the 3 points to find the plane that goes through those 3 points. Okay, so you need 3 points to make a plane. Questions on the front page. That was all section 1. We have questions on section 1 at all. If there's no questions there, then we're going to flip it over, and then that's going to be the elimination stuff that we focused on Monday. So, to try and make it so everyone solves it the same way, I gave you a system. So an A, B, and a C equation, and I said to eliminate x by using equations A and B. So that's parts A and part B of the whole problem, where you choose to eliminate what variable. You choose, this one says to choose x, and then you pick 2 and eliminate x. So you're using A and B. So I'm going to pause the video and go ahead and try and eliminate x using a combination of equations A and B. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a chance to do that one. I want you all to try it. So, if you combine A and B, what happens, gentlemen, okay, A and B, x's will automatically eliminate. You do not need a multiplier there. When x's eliminate, negative y and 2y make 1y. Negative 2z and 1z make negative z. 12 and negative 11 make 1. Y minus z equals 1 is the equation we end up with. Raise your hand if you were able to come up with that. Nice. So this next one, we're going to combine A with C. Do we need a multiplier when we combine A with C? No. And I notice a lot of people around the room have already done this one. So A with C. A is x minus y minus 2z equals 12. And C is negative x plus y minus 3z equals 3. Make sure I copy those down right, because I want to be careful with every step that I do, because since these problems are so long, it's important that we find errors quickly. Okay? X's will cancel. How many y's are we left with? How many y's are there then? 2 y's? What's negative 1 plus 1? They cancel also. It's okay if more than one variable eliminate. It actually works pretty nicely that way. Negative 2z and negative 3z make what? Negative 5z equals 12 and 3? 15. Since in this case we only have one variable, finish solving. What does z have to be?
It has to be negative 3.
It has to be negative 3. So divide both sides by negative 5 and find that z is negative 3. Could you leave it negative 5z equals 15? Yeah, but let's just find z since we're already right there. Okay. All right, so now we have a different system here for number 9. And we're going to go through this one. So number 9, we have equations A, B, and C. Part A says to choose a variable to eliminate. So, do you want to eliminate x, y, or z? All right, let's do x then. So you get to choose. That's your choice. Okay? Now when I'm going to go grade your quiz, I have 3 different keys. I have this problem done where I've eliminated x, I've done this problem where I eliminated y, and I've done this problem where I've eliminated z, so I can see your steps and make sure you guys get partial credit for your work that goes on. Okay? But I'm going to make sure that if I eliminate x, that when I eliminate here and here, I'm actually getting rid of x. Okay? So this is where we do our combinations. Pick 2 of them. Which 2 equations do you want to combine?
B and C.
B and C, okay. We'll do B and C. What's another combination you want to do?
A and B.
A and B or A and C, it doesn't matter. Well, you only have to do it twice. You don't have to do it all 3 times. Okay? If I combine B with C right now, so if I'm looking at just B with C, will my x's eliminate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if I add those, I have 2x. If I add them the way they are right now, I will have 2x. I want to eliminate them. So what do I need to do in order for the x's to eliminate?
I times 1 by -1.
Multiply one of them by -1. It doesn't matter what one. So maybe I'll just do it to the first one. -1 times b. So that means I have -x minus 3y plus z equals -4. Make sure that I multiplied each of the terms by -1. I didn't forget anything. I'm double checking each step as I go. Since I multiplied b by -1, I'll leave c alone. X plus y minus 2z equals -1. Make sure I copied it down right. X, y, -2z, -1. Okay. Now that I have that, are my x's ready to eliminate? Yes. Now that they're opposites, they will eliminate. -x and a positive x make 0 x's. Okay. -3y and a positive y make how many y's? -2y. Okay. A positive z and a -2z make what? -1z. -4 and -1 make -5. Okay. Now that's going to be, now that I have an equation, it doesn't have x in it, because I eliminated x, that was my goal. I have an equation, it doesn't have x, I'm going to write it right here. -2y minus z equals -5. That's what I was aiming for. Now I'm going to go back up and I'm going to have to combine a with b and eliminate x that way. If I'm looking at just a and b, will my x's eliminate when I add those? No, I would have 3x. So what should I do? Okay, so I'm going to leave a alone. I'm going to multiply b by -2. So I'm just writing that out because that's what I can see that I'm going to be doing. My a I'm leaving alone, so I have 2x minus y plus z equals -3. My b value, I'm going to multiply everything by -2. So -2x, 3 times -2 is minus 6y. -1 times -2 is a positive 2z. 4 times -2 is -8. I'm going to double check I copied a right, copied b, and multiplied by -2 correctly. Positive. Yes. Okay, looks good. Am I ready to add them up? Yep. So my x's eliminate. I add 2x and -2x make 0x. Number 4, how many y's do I have? I have a -y and a -6y. How many y's? -7y. Number 3, how many z's do I have? Number 3. You're 1.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead. We have 3 z's, so plus 3z equals, we have a -3 and a -8. Number 6, how many do we have? -3 and -8 make what? -11. Okay. Did I eliminate x?
Yeah.
Yep, so I'm good to write that equation right down here. Negative 7y plus 3z equals negative 11. Okay. Now we get to go back to our old-fashioned way of solving equations. The rest is nothing new. Do you guys want to use substitution or elimination to solve this? Because when we write the system in two variables and we solve it, now we can solve it using any method. Elimination. I typically would use elimination here because a lot of times it's already set up where the variables are all lined up. Okay? So, when we do elimination here, can we just add them up and things will eliminate on its own? No. What are we going to have to do? Multiply the top one or the bottom one? The top one by 3. So if I take this one and multiply by 3, I end up with negative 6y minus 3z equals negative 15. If I leave the bottom one alone, the z's eliminate. I end up with negative 13y equals negative 26. What does y have to be? 2. Divide both sides by negative 13. As soon as I have that, I'm going to go to writing my solution. I know that it's a point, so I'm just going to start filling in the parts that I know. I found y was 2. What do you do now that you have one of the variables? Plug it in where? Either of these two equations. I can't plug it into an original yet because I only have y and my unknowns will be x and z both. So I have to use one of these when I'm doing my system of 2. Okay? So once we have that y, we can plug it into either the top or the bottom. Which one you want to use? Sure, top one. Negative 2 times the y was 2. Minus z equals negative 5. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Minus z equals negative 5. Add 4 on both sides. Negative z equals negative 1. What does z then have to be? Z is then 1. Divide both sides by negative 1. Put that in here as your answer. Now you can plug it into one of the originals. Do you want to use A, B, or C?
Let's do A.
Let's do A. Okay, so we'll plug it into A. We have 2 times x is unknown, minus our y value, which is 2, plus our z value, which is 1, equals negative 3. All right. 2x minus 2 plus 1 equals negative 3. Negative 2 and 1 make negative 1. All right, add 1 to both sides. 2x equals negative 2. Divide by 2 on both sides. X is negative 1. So our final answer there is negative 1, 2, negative 1, 2, 1. I know how to check my solution. I can use a calculator. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it into both to all A, B, and C here. So when I plug it into A, 2 times the x value is negative 1, minus the y value is 2, plus the z value is 1. And when I hit enter, I should get negative 3. I do, so it works for A. Let's check B. X is negative 1, plus 3 times y is 2, minus z is 1, equals, when I hit enter, I should get 4. And I do. Try it with C. X is negative 1, plus y is 2, minus 2 times z is 1. When I hit enter, I should get negative 1, and I do. So make sure that once you get to your final answer, you know how to plug it in on your calculator Okay, just whatever is there, just put the x in parentheses, put the y in parentheses, put the z in parentheses. In those locations, type it in, hit enter, and make sure it equals what it's supposed to equal. Okey-doke.